Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another First Division show. We're going to look back at the games last weekend, look ahead to the games this weekend. Delighted to welcome Sean Lean and Keith Ryan on again. Guys, how are you feeling?
All right.
Good.
Good. We'll start off in Athlone, where Athlone were beaten 3-1 at home to Galway United. And Galway United now are on 7 wins out of 7, scored 19, conceded 3. It's been a fairly impressive start for them. Hurley with 2 and Walsh after they fell behind through Pirro in the first half. I suppose to start off with you, Keith, in this one, and as I said, 7 wins in a row for Galway. It's been an amazing start, and they've got all kinds of wins so far this season. Big wins, tight victories coming from behind and winning. Even at this early, it's difficult to see anyone actually going with them, isn't it?
I think what's crucial is Waterford got rid of Danny Searle. I think, you talk about early days, but they had to do something in terms of if anyone's going to go after them, it's Waterford, Waterford FC. Apologies. So like the Keith Long factor, but like good win for Galway again. Look, 7 in a row. Their fans will be absolutely delighted. They were Hurley after missing the penalty, scored literally a couple of minutes after that to equalise, and then he got the second, which was a nice tidy finish. Seems to be playing a little bit higher up the pitch this season, which might suit Galway, and he's chipping in with the goals again. So, look, 7 wins. You probably can't discount the level of impact that maybe Ollie Horgan has had coming in there as well. Himself and John Caulfield, they're wily old characters in the league. They know the league. So it's probably no surprise that Galway have got off to the start they've got off to. But it is crucial that Waterford have changed their manager, because of all teams, they'll probably be the ones that will be chasing Galway for the title this season.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, Athlone for their part, like 5th in the league, 3 wins, a draw, and 3 defeats. To be honest, they'd be fairly satisfied with that, although they'd be a bit disappointed losing this convincingly, really, after going 1 up. But overall, yeah, they're doing all right, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a better start than most people would have expected from Athlone. And it was a really good counter-attacking goal they got, the one that opened the scoring. I thought after that, they had a really good chance of getting something from the game. But then after that, Galway's experience relative to theirs really showed. I mean, first of all, to concede so quickly after going in front, it's really unforgivable. And I think it was the third goal. The defenders just didn't communicate, and Walsh got in there for a pretty easy goal there. So I think, to be fair, I think Athlone will look at individual things to be disappointed with, but overall they're having a really good season relative to what their expectations were, and they've every chance of getting into the playoffs now.
Yeah, Keith, Cobh Ramblers 2, Bray Wanderers 1, and we might let Sean talk about Cobh a bit more. But disappointing enough defeat for Bray. However, it's only first defeat in the season, and under Ian Ryan there. But they're third in the league at 12 points, 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat. How did they play in the game? Were you disappointed? There were 1 or 2 things that may have happened in the game. Moody was sent off as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, look, there was a few changes for Bray on the night. Like Ian Ryan obviously felt that he had to change it up and go a little bit more physical, maybe with Luka Lovic starting the game. I mean, Harry Green was dropped to the bench, and Joe Perra played, who's performed well for us this season. Look, Brendan Farrell obviously put Cobh in front, and then he put the ball into his own net to make it 1-1. I don't know if you've seen the penalty. To me, it looked a bit harsh. I'm not sure if Moody pulled his arm away or he didn't clip him as such. I felt Jack Hudson was a covering defender, so straight red for Moody. Obviously, the referee claimed he was the last man. He wasn't really, because there was a covering defender there. So that kind of changed things. It was pretty even. Bray couldn't really play their passing style. I must say that the Cobh Ramblers, and I've been going on about this for a while, when people are probably fed up with me giving out on Twitter or whatever, but I felt the pitch again in Cobh was absolutely atrocious. It just looks so soft, and you'll see Alex Moody when he goes to kick the ball for the penalty decision, the ball bobbles, and he completely misses it, and then he's chasing it back. So, look, the unbeaten one is gone. Probably the stick out thing here was Dane Massey was missing from the centre defence. Whether that contributed to Bray losing the game, I'm not sure. But him and Cole had a pretty good partnership at the back. And yeah, Ian Ryan, he'll be disappointed the unbeaten run's gone, but you know, it's how to react to this, and we play Athlone next week, which we'll discuss later. So, but you know, I'm happy enough at the start, but it's disappointing to lose the unbeaten run.
Yeah, Sean, I mean, Cobh, you'd have to say probably the surprise package so far. Second in the league, 1 defeat 7. I know they've made some good signs, spoke about them before, and Jack Doherty, to be fair, has been absolutely brilliant for them so far this season. Arguably so far, to be honest, like the player of the season, the first division are certainly up there with his performances and that. But, you know, beating a team like Bray, who looks stronger this season under Ian Ryan as well, is a massive, massive result for them, even though, you know, maybe 1 or 2 decisions didn't go their way. You still have to go out and win the match. Like, you know, they've been excellent so far, and like they're second in the league at the moment. And you have to give Shane Keegan credit there because he's clearly got his recruitment right as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When Cobh finished last season, and the mood was not as, you know, somber as you would have expected for a team to finish bottom of the first division. There was an element of hope around them that the things were moving in the right direction. And I think I had Cobh to finish, say, 7th or something in the first division when we did the predictions. But I said as well that I'd be the least surprised if they were the team that finished above where I predicted them to finish. And I have to say, even then, this is really surprising from Cobh that they're doing so well. You know, they've got the most out of a lot of players. Wilson Wawera was a really smart signing as well. He got the winner there on Friday, and Keane Brown as well from us, and he's performing really well. You know, some people here had doubts, you know, but he's really made a name for himself there at left side of defence. So they've really they've recruited well. That has to be said. But you know, the only loss they've had this season is Galway, and even then it was closer. You know, it was. I mean, if it's a Charlie Lyons error, I think that leads to Galway's winner in that game. If they don't get that, you know, it's a 1-0 draw, and they've got to draw against the best team. They're having a really good season, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Waterford FC 7th, in Harps 1, and tell you what, we'll talk about Keith Long and Alan Reynolds when we're talking about the next game, Friday's fixture, you know what I mean? But we'll talk about the game pretty much. And it was Keith Long's first game in charge, but obviously Darnley Cyril left the club as well, and we spoke about that a little bit. And I did speak to you about this, Sean, start the season. I didn't understand why he was given a 2-year contract. I kind of still a few question marks over him. I wouldn't have minded if I was a Waterford fan if they actually changed management in the pre-season. But we'll get into that in a while. The match itself, amazing win, 7-1, sorry. Idaho getting 2. Actually, Keith Long had him a bowl for a while, by the way. Farrow and OG, Killian Cantwell, Coughlin. He's done well, actually. Looks like he's over his injuries. Parsons, Phillips, and Okwutu with a late goal for Harps for 7 down. And I'll get Keith to talk about Harps in a minute. But massive win for Waterford. And I suppose, Sean, what did you see apart from the 7 goals that maybe was a bit different to what has happened the last few weeks in terms of style and performance, let's say?
There was a real hunger about him. I mean, it looked at times in previous games like, you know, the team didn't really want to be there. They were just, you know, that they were fighting on the pitch and stuff like that. There was a real confidence once the first goal went in. And I don't think, you know, it was an even enough game.
Ironically, I'll just throw it out there. Like, they scored 7. It took 30 minutes to score the first one. So, you know, it clumped in there. Like,
it was an even enough game, and Roland the Doe got the first one. He'd actually had a few. He hadn't. I don't think he'd been playing very well up until that point. Yeah. But the goal, you know, he really fashioned it himself. It was out of nothing. It was a fantastic strike. And after that, he was man of the match. Niall O'Keefe got man of the match over the intercom, but I would have given it to Roland the Doe. I mean, 2 goals, and like he caused all sorts of problems for the Hearts defence. As well as that, it was really nice to see that we gave some of our younger players a run out towards the end. We get the likes of Romeo Akachukwu and Harvey Warren. It's really, I suppose the only thing I would say negative about it is that the goal that Harps got was very soft, and it would have been nice to keep a clean sheet at home. But other than that, you know, it was a fantastic performance. I mean, Harps were beaten, but after half time, like, but we went out and beat them. We went out and played really good football. It could have been any score. Roland Doe hit the crossbar. There was a few other ones I'm missing as well, but you touched on Ronan Coughlin. I mean, I think he's taken Wasim's spot in the starting 11 there. He's there doesn't appear to be any problem with motivation for him. He was really fired up, and the fourth goal that he got came as a direct result of him chasing down the keeper. I mean, I could go on for ages, but it was a really, really good performance, and he took a risk, I thought, with McMenemy and Ido on the wings, two midfielders playing on the wings, but it really paid off, and it's a very encouraging start to the Keith Long era.
Yeah, we'll get on to that again later. From Finn Harp's point of view, Keith, it's it's what do you say? Like, it's a humiliating result because it was 7-0 with 5 minutes to go. By all accounts, Sean will tell you as well, it could be more, to be honest, as well. And I suppose a lot of Finn Harps fans, Keith, wanted Ollie Horgan out. You would have to ask the question, and there's nothing against Dave Rogers. He's only come in, he's trying to build a new team. He doesn't know the league, which could be, I know he's played in the league before, but does he know the league as it is now compared to, would they be doing as bad under Ollie? I'm not so sure. I don't think they would be, personally, do you?
No, it was actually in my thoughts. Like, Ollie Horgan was a grinder. He got results. He knew when and where to set up his team. And Ollie Horgan's team wouldn't have lost 7-1 in Waterford.
And I was going to say, Keith, as well, they're becoming a bit of a soft touch, because even when they were in the Premier Division, you'd say the top teams are playing for the Harps. You always thought, hopefully we're guaranteed 3 points here. You know what I mean? But are they becoming a bit of a soft touch, you wonder as well? Like,
yeah, looking at the highlights, the majority of goals were so easy. I think Killian Cantwell had the space of 10 acres to volley his goal into the net. Looking at and I hate criticising players, but the Finn Harps goalkeeper for a couple of, and Sean, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me here, but Finn Harps keeper for a couple of goals, I mean, one of them was so comical. He went to claim the ball, it dropped, he went to claim it again, he knocked it towards the goal, and I think it was Ronan Coughlin then put the ball into there. I mean, you can't, and I know people say it's the first division, but at that level, it's still a pretty high level. You can't be making mistakes like that. And one of the goals as well, it was a shot from distance, I think it was Ido, and he parried it right back into the 6-yard box, and I think it was the 5th or 6th goal. But Dave Rogers, I was going to say Brendan Rogers, Dave Rogers, I mean, he's only in the job a wet day. He did say it was going to be a long-term plan. So I'm sure Finn Harps fans will give him the benefit of the doubt. But Ollie Horgan, look what's happened with Galway since he went in there. Maybe it was the wrong decision to relieve him of his duties.
Maybe so. Finished Wexford 1, Treaty 1, Levinson equalised early in the second half after Endicott scored a penalty for Treaty to give them the lead. Treaty still haven't won this season, second bottom and 3 points. Wexford, I think for the recruitment, Sean, Wexford, they haven't really got going yet, it's fair to say. 2 wins and 7, 3 defeats, for example, on 8 points. Still in the cusp of the playoff, and you'd still kind of expect them to get in there, but it's not quite gelling for them yet, is it?
No, I mean, it's very disappointing. Jordan Adiemo was out of the squad entirely there against Treaty. I wonder what's going on there. He didn't think he was injured anyway. But I would still say, based on the game, that Treaty were lucky to come away with a point. But it's very sort of the story of Wexford season so far. They've really been disappointing. I think they've only got the 1 win so far, and that came against
2 wins.
2 wins. Oh yeah, they beat Kerry as well. But even that was a close one. No disrespect to Kerry, but like with the players Wexford had, they really should have blown them away. But very disappointing for Wexford. I wonder. I'd like to know what's not clicked for them this season. I couldn't tell you anyway.
Yeah, I'm just staying that Keith for a second. I just wonder if again, like, it's early in his managerial career, but there's a lot of good managers in this league, and we've added another very good manager as well. And you just wonder, is James Kelly possibly, not up to the level required. Like, for example, they brought in a good players, like Bray brought in a few players, but Bray looked far better, maybe better coached as well at this minute in time. And again, there's only 7 good games gone in his tenure, but he has brought in a lot of good players. I mean, look at Cobh at the moment, who are 6 points clear ahead of Wexford. And you would argue, even though they've made good signings, that Wexford probably have better players overall. So there's something not clicking there. Maybe the ideas aren't getting across yet. I don't know.
Look, you can be a good coach, but that doesn't necessarily transfer to a good manager. Look, James Kelly was a brilliant coach when he was with Bray. He was fantastic. Yeah. He followed Gary to Longford. Very quiet chap. So maybe in the dressing room, if things are going wrong, maybe he's not elevating his voice enough or whatever. I don't know. Look, they have characters in that team. I mean, they signed Ethan Boyle and Hugh Douglas, who are playing at the back for them. The 2 Levinson brothers, good players. You've Aaron Dobbs, as Sean said at the game, or what has happened to him? He done brilliant with Longford in the second half of last season. He's gone to Wexford and he hasn't hit the ground. They've Danny Furlong, who has been there and done that with them, So why it's not clicking? Maybe, you could say it for a lot of teams. A lot of teams have brought in players. Some have clicked. Bray seemed to have clicked a little bit into a bit of form. Cobh have done the same. Wexford haven't, unfortunately. So maybe they just need to go back to the drawing board and do an analysis on where they go from here. Look, it's early days. You play each team 4 times. I mean, you say they're on the cusp of a playoff, and they probably will be thereabouts at the end of the season. But yeah, it definitely is back to the drawing board for James Kelly.
Yeah, Longford 10-2, Kerry FC 0, and a bit of a struggle this one, Sean, for Longford. They didn't seal it until the last minute. Girigi with 2 goals in that game as well. He was actually at Shelburne last season for a while. Good result for Longford. So it's only the first win of the season. I said it was a bit of a struggle as well. And, similarly, maybe Stephen Henderson has taken a while to get his ideas there across. I mean, Longford did bring in some good players, especially late in the day. Like, the likes of A. Dervin, for example, he's a very good player. Definitely he can play for any side in the first division and a couple in the Premier. But at the same time, they'll take the results. They're struggling to score goals, so they've scored 4 goals. Even Kerry and Treacy have scored 4 goals as well. And that seems to be a common theme at Longford, even under Cronin a little bit as well, that they're struggling to score goals. And Verdon gone now as well. You're kind of looking at them and where are the goals in the team. But look, they'll take the 3 points, I suppose, and move on here.
Yeah, I think so. They were a very defensive team. They have been for this season, and a young team as well. A lot of players signed from the under-19s of the Dublin teams. Yeah. So it's going to take a while for things to gel there. It was very important that they did get the win. I don't think there was that much to separate the 2 teams. I think if you took Girigi out of the Longford team, it probably would have finished 0-0. I don't see where the goals would have come from without him. The second goal in particular was really out of nothing. Kerry had a poor start there, were really slow out of the gates, and that led to the first one. So not a lot in between them, but look, it hasn't been a great season for Longford so far, even all things considered. So it was very important for them to get a home win, and maybe this will be the thing that kicks them on.
As for Kerry, Keith, we said at the start of the season, it's hard to be critical. New club, they're trying to establish themselves. They haven't won in 7 games, conceded 20. Scored 4, mind you, 9 in against Galway, to be fair. So, you know what I mean? So it's only 11 they've conceded the other 6 games. But, it's difficult to talk about Kerry in many ways, Keith, isn't it? Because, some of the performances have been decent and they haven't been easily beaten in a lot of the games. So they were in this game up to the last minute as such. They were in the game against Wexford, for example. The couple of games at home where obviously they nicked the point and it was tight as well. But they seem, though, at times caught between what to do tactically, I think, sometimes. They're obviously left themselves wide open against Galway, and they've become a little bit more defensive since that. But how are you seeing
them? To talk about Kerry's biggest success this season is actually getting the club up into the league. I mean, no one was expecting them to do very much this season. You speak about James Kelly at Wexford. Billy Dennehy is in his first senior management role. Maybe he's not tactically astute in making his team plans or whatever. But look, as I said, the biggest success was Kerry this season. Their first win this season is going to be huge for them. You know, I know they haven't won yet, and they've conceded 20 goals. I think it's the most in the division. Finn Harsh on 15, I think, conceded. They are shipping goals. I know you did say 9 of them were against Galway. Yeah. If you look back to that game, Galway could have probably scored 15 or 16. Just the way Kerry were going about things. You know, I spoke about the Finn Harps keeper. You might see Gurgie's second goal from distance. Wayne Guthrie, will he be disappointed? Maybe a little bit. And it looks like I'm focusing on goalkeepers. I never even mentioned Eamon Minogue's penalty save for Athlone, which was fantastic. So,
yeah,
but you know,
mentioned too. So,
yeah, look, Kerry will just go about things, and it's all about establishing a bit of a connection with the community down there. It's a massive GAA county, so to establish themselves in the League of Ireland in such a hotbed, in such a GAA hotbed, like look at Kilkenny.
Why would we be watching that for now?
Look, fair play to Kerry. It won't matter to them. It won't matter to their board. It won't matter to their fans. They're in the League of Ireland, and please God, they're there for the long term. And with a small bit of success this season, like what was their plan at the start of the season? Win him so many games? I don't know. You know, so if they can get off the board, I'm not sure they're playing next week. I'm sure you'll mention in a few minutes, but yeah, look, Kerry are Kerry.
Good way to finish. We're looking at the Friday's games then. Bray Wanderers take on Athlone Town. This is third against fifth, and obviously I'll start with you, Keith, here. Bray and Ian Ryan be looking to get back to win away. It's always how you can have an unbeaten start and then lose a game. It's how you react after that. And it's fair to say that this is a good opportunity for them to obviously get 3 points at home to Athlone. You'd like to think they'd fancy it, wouldn't you?
Keith, there's no easy games in this league. No. Unfortunately, apart from Kerry, probably. There's no easy games. You look at the Cobhs. Sean already mentioned they finished bottom last season. They're now second in the league. Athlone were down the bottom last season. They're challenging for a playoff spot. So it's going to be tough. And Athlone have brought in a couple of players. Perro seems to be hitting the back of the net. I know he's suspended for a couple of weeks. But they seem to have clicked a little bit as well. So it's a massive game for Bray. I was mentioned to a friend of mine, we go to Galway the week after. So if we have any aspirations of getting a playoff spot, you get a win next Friday and you go to Galway and show Galway exactly what you are. So for me, I think Bray will react. I think there's a couple of players to come back into the side. It's a home game as well, so you obviously want to win your home game. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Bray here. I think it'd be a tight game, but I think Bray will just have enough.
Yeah, Sean, Athlone, they still give me a feeling of they're still likely to leak goals. You can't see them keep too many clean sheets, particularly in teams like Bray, the Carlisle thing. But at the same time, they do look like they can score goals as well. So there's a bit of entertainment value with them at the moment as well, to be fair. But difficult maybe to see them. If they could get a point at the Carlisle, I think they'd be pretty happy with that, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I mean it'd be a hell of a performance if they were able to do that. I mean, I think it's just the wrong team for them to come up against. Bray are a very good team going forward, and that's Athlone's weakness is really at the back and defending. So I think they will. I think they'll get a goal. They might even take the lead, but I ultimately don't think they're going to win this game. I think they'd be very lucky if they even got a draw. I'd say 3-1 to Bray.
Yeah, I actually got something similar, 3-1 Bray as well. Cobh and Waterford's an interesting game. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about Waterford in a minute, but you know, Cobh obviously at home getting decent crowds as well. Second in the league, ahead of Waterford. Although Waterford we game in hand, but Munster Derby, Keith. They'll bring a big crowd to this Cobh, and this is going to be an interesting game for them as well. Can they go and beat Bray at home and then Waterford at home?
Yeah, it's a pretty big game, and you know, Keith Long will have analysed the Cobh performance against Bray, and the thing that might again Waterford play with the ball as well on the deck, so they'll be hoping the pitch is a little bit better than it was for Bray last week. I mean, Shane Keegan has set up his team, and I mean, if Jack Doherty is anywhere near fit, he'll definitely cause Waterford problems. But coming off the back of a 7-goal or 6-goal win against Finn Harps, Waterford would be expecting to push on from here. And Keith Long won't let them rest on their laurels. You know, Alan Reynolds has come in as well. So the two of them combined, they look to hit the ground running. And I think Waterford will win here. I think a 2-0 win for Waterford.
Sean, it's a bit of a dream team appointment, isn't it? Obviously, I spoke in the reviewing the other game about Cyril very quickly, but the fact that they haven't gone to Britain, I think, for a start, for my opinion, they must listen to me too much or something. The fact that they haven't gone to Britain and to bring in, you know, a manager that might know the league, etc., etc., etc. I mean, Keith Long has been one of the best managers in the league for quite some time, and he does like to play football, and he's managed a Premier Division team. It went a bit stale in the end, I suppose, but this guy knows the league inside out, the leagues, I should say, inside out. And obviously Reynolds coming back in, a Waterford man, and anything Keith doesn't know, he'll certainly be filling him in as well. So I think it's probably the best joint appointment, if you like, that Waterford could have made. And it just shows that the owners, even though they've come from Britain and Fleetwood and all, they're not ignorant to the fact that, you know what I mean, there's good managers in this league that may, you know, bring Waterford forward. And you know, they had to probably make, as Keith alluded to earlier on, Galway, you know, another 3 or 4 games, Galway could kind of be out of reach if they kept this up. So if they could get even a kick as well under Keith Long, etc., they're still capable of actually challenging for top spot. And what do you think of the appointment overall? I'm sure you're pretty happy with it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to find any fault with it, really. I mean, I didn't think we'd be able to get Keith Long. He was top of my list of, like, if I could have anyone, you know, he'd be in. But, you know, I didn't think we'd be able to get him. So to get him on a long-term deal as well is fantastic. And then to get Rennie in as the assistant manager, it really showed that they'd done their homework, because a lot of people down here were vying for Rennie to be, you know, the head manager. But I don't think that's his preferred position, because everywhere he's gone except here, he's been the assistant manager. And I think, you know, when he was here, the football he played, and to be fair, it was very trying circumstances under that ownership at that particular time at the club. But I think it was very negative. You know, it wasn't attractive, and it was very narrow, so teams sort of figured out how to deal with it. But I think he's, you know, where he excels is man management. You know, we had players here at the club like Zach Elbazzetti and Michael O'Connor, who, you know, had a rough time, had a rough time at other clubs, and came here, and maybe other clubs didn't want them, and he got the most out of those. So I think if there is a problem, and it seemed like there was problems with discipline in the camp, then he'd be the man. You know, he'd tackle those head on, you know, and he'd find a way to deal with them, and he'd get the most out of players who maybe, you know, haven't had a good time so far.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kerry FC take on Finn Harps, and Keith asked who Kerry were playing earlier on. I was thinking to myself, you know what? Could have a chance of a first win here. I know Finn Harps will be trying to react to that defeat. It was a bad defeat, but bit of pressure on Harps going all the way down to Kerry. It's a long trip, Donegal to Kerry as well, Keith. You could see an opportunity for Kerry here, couldn't you?
It's actually funny. The commentators in the Waterford game mentioned that Finn Harps actually travelled further to Waterford than they do to Kerry, which I was surprised with. But it's
you're going across, I suppose. Literally, yeah. It's interesting, yeah. A few difficult trips for their fans in a row, anyway, that's for sure.
But that's what may impact Finn Harps here. Long trip, you know. I'm not sure if they're doing an overnighter or not, or whatever, because I mean it's 4 hours, is it? 4.5 hours from Donegal to Kerry, and you know that the lads sitting on a bus for that long, and I know football is developed and everything like that, and there's rest times and stuff like that, but it's a tough old slog, and you know Kerry will be up for this. They'll have seen Finn Harps' result last week. They'll have seen how Finn Harps have performed this season, you know. And again, we said it already, Kerry have nothing to lose here. So I think you're right, Keith. I'm going to go for a sneaky Kerry win here. I think they'll win 1-0.
I'm the same. Go for a sneaky Kerry win, Sean.
We're all in agreement.
Are we? Yeah. Back to Cobh and Waterford quickly. We actually didn't give a prediction because we're so engrossed with what's happening in Waterford. But I do think Waterford will go and win this one 2-1. Sean?
3-1.
Keith?
I think I said 2-0, did I?
Did you may give a prediction and missed it, but yeah, we'll go 2-0 anyway. You said it again, if that's the case. Treaty and Longford, and I can't see many goals in this game, Sean, basically.
I can't see many people going to it either, to be honest. 0-0. It'd be a very defensive game. Enda Curran maybe will nick a goal. That'll be the only. I think that's the only way I see a goal happening in this game. Yeah. But I'm still going to say 0-0.
Keith, it's not the game, honestly, would have been, that you choose to go and see 8 goals between both teams this season. Treacy struggling, still no wins this season. You'd like to think from their point of view that they can take Longford at home, but it's not. It wouldn't be one for the neutrals, I would suggest.
No, definitely. If you're neutral and you're looking through LOI TV to choose a game, this is definitely not one to choose. I mean, both teams are struggling to score. It's so hard to pinpoint what has gone wrong for Tommy Barrett this season and Treaty, because the last 2 seasons, maybe the expectation.
I think that's what it is, Keith. I think it's just a come back down to earth type situation rather than something gone wrong, if you know what I mean. Just overachieved so much that it was going to hit them at some stage, unless they were going to be able to go out and get him and him and him and him, that kind of way.
You say they come back down to earth. They were never at earth, really.
They were never at earth, yeah.
So they were always, there was the expectation wasn't there, but I wouldn't say that people were they didn't drop, they didn't hit the ground.
Is it a simple case, Keith, of others have improved and treated?
I think so. And it's a tough league this season. I think every other team, apart from Longford maybe, and Kerry, every other team in the league has improved over Treaty. And I said it a few weeks ago, Ryan Conley is a big loss. Yeah. I mean, he signed for them. He was going to be...
It's the way they lost them as well, exactly. That would be a big blow.
And Jack Lynch obviously went travelling and stuff like that. So, yeah. Look, I'm going to go for my first 0-0 of the season in predictions.
Treaty to pinch at 1-0. So 1 goal between the 3 of us in this game. Wexford take on Galway in a very carried park, and this is a game where Galway looking to go, I was going to say 8 unbeaten, 8 straight wins in a row. I don't know, Keith. I have a sneaky suspicion here that Wexford haven't really put in a really good 90 minutes this season, and they have got good players. The pressure's off. They could well do it against Galway, I feel. I just have this suspicion. I don't know why, but
yeah. Look, when James Keddy was at Bray, there was Bray and Galway, Bray, so, and Bray got the hex over them a couple of times, Yeah. So although Galway have signed a couple of different players, it's a different team. James will definitely know the way John Caulfield will set his team up. I think you're right. I think Galway go there and they will struggle. I think it's going to be a 1-1. I think it's going to be a tight game. Whether Jordan Adeyemo comes back into the fold, but they can't be relying on Danny Furlong. I think he's 33, 34 now. I mean, he's put in for performances this season.
And been out of the game at that level for a good season.
Of course. And they have a couple of tidy players. The both Levingsons. Dara scored his first goal at the weekend for Wexford. So look, a lot of the league are probably hoping Wexford get a result here, because if you said it already, if Galway keep going the way they're going, they'll just steamroll teams and they'll end up going 10, 12 points clear. I think a 1-1.
Yeah, Sean, as I alluded there, I just have a feeling, sneaky suspicion that Galway might drop their first points here this season. In fact, I might say I think Wexford might win the game, to be honest, and go 1-0 Wexford. But yeah, your thoughts overall in this? Obviously, you spoke how good the recruitment was at Wexford, but they need to be shown that performances need to improve here, and it'd be great. You could kick their start their season actually if they could perform and beat Galway, for example.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Keith hit the nail on the head when he said that the whole league was hoping that this would be where Galway slip up. The Wexford definitely have the players to do it, but it would really be something special if this was the game where they came alive. I just don't know. They might show flashes of it, but I don't see them sustaining a performance that they need in order to do that against Galway for a whole 90 minutes. So yeah. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be generous to Wexford. I say they'll push Galway a bit, but I don't think they'll have enough to say 2-1 Galway.
A draw the Galway win, the Wexford win. Brilliant stuff, guys. We'll leave it there. Guys at home, let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button. If you're a Waterford fan, what are your thoughts on the appointments of Long and Reynolds? That's it, lads. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
See you guys.